Hi, I'm Cindy.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
Together, we are the Brave Girls. Being brave is having the courage to share our stories with one another.
Being vulnerable is brave. Choosing positivity is brave. Showing up for ourselves is brave.
Let's be brave together.
Hello and welcome back to the Brave Girls podcast. We're so excited you came back to watch us, and today we're going to talk more astrology. I hope you don't mind. We've had good feedback on astrology, wouldn't you say, Cindy?
Oh, 100%. People have all sorts of questions. They're approaching me on like, how do they learn more about all the things that are happening? So I'm hoping to dive into some of those topics today with you.
Well, what better time, because welcome to Eclipse season.
Right?
Mic drop. So we need to get into what does eclipse season mean? And since we're the how-to hub, what we're going to talk about is how to navigate eclipse season. This one is particularly on the Aries and the Libra axis, which we'll get into. But this is all about navigating eclipse season. So buckle up. And what we're going to do this time around is Cindy's going to ask me the questions. We've gone over some questions that might be helpful for all of us to learn a little bit more, not only about astrology, but what are these shifts? How do we embrace these shifts? What are we feeling? But I think that we can all agree we can feel something. We can feel something's going on. And so Cindy's going to ask these important questions, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them for you.
I feel like you're going to be able to answer them. I don't know. Just a feeling I have. Okay, so I'm going to be kind of doing a bit of an interview process with Jenny today. As you know, she's our resident expert in all of these things, and I'm a complete newbie. So all of these questions are things that I am curious about, that I want to learn more about. So the first one I wanted to ask is like, what are eclipses? Like, what is it? And like, what's happening?
So technically, without getting too technical, but technically it's when the moon is close to the nodes, and you may or may not remember that I have told you more than 1 million times. If you remember nothing about astrology, just remember about the nodes, the south node, the north node. Learn about your nodes. Where are the nodes in your chart? Which nodes are you born under? What house placement are your nodes in? If you learn nothing about astrology, learn about the nodes. The nodes are the destiny makers. It's fate. Things happen. This will change your life. Whenever something huge has happened in your life, look back to where the nodes were, and maybe it was even an eclipse season, this sort of thing. So not trying to be fear-based, not trying to have any kind of scare tactics here. Mm-hmm. This is the punch of the eclipse. Literally, you could be sitting in your house doing absolutely nothing, refusing to go out, saying no to all the plans, and it's still going to happen.
Yeah. I think that's the sensation that I'm getting. So I'm curious to know specifically to my chart, like which node is it like a specific node that it's aiming towards or pulling me towards? Because I'm feeling like drawn to more negative.
If we're talking about you and your chart, so let's use Cindy as our guinea pig. She's so good at this. She's so good about this all the time. So Cindy,
do it. It's fun.
It's fun. Let's just pick her apart.
Yeah.
So this particular eclipse is on the Libra Aries axis. Okay. This is where the nodes of the moon are right now, and they have been since last October. We're going to talk about that in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail.
Okay.
So it's 18 months of Libra and Aries lessons. Okay. So right now in your chart, Cindy, it's hitting your first house, which is basically your entire life. When it hits when anything hits a first house, it's like, you better have your seatbelt on. This is going to change everything. This is
buckle up.
Everything.
Yeah, that's essentially how it's been feeling, and it's accurate in terms of that time frame as well, because I know wasn't our first podcast around, when did we do it? Was it around October? I feel like it was.
I feel like we had our first business meeting right around that time. Like it was like the inception of the Brave Girls.
Exactly. And I think making that decision created a huge shift for me in terms of my life, my path, and what direction I'm going in now. And I know I've been feeling more of a pull just in general of like pushing myself to try new things, do things differently, and truly like believe in myself and follow the things that my soul is like pulling me towards. And it's making me feel all sorts of good things.
Well, it's good. I'm glad to hear it's positive. And again, like I love that you said that, because eclipses can be scary because
Yeah.
lots of things happen. Okay. Lots
Yeah.
of things happen in eclipses.
So
But
for
good things can happen too. It's not just like bad things. And I'm not one of those, let's talk about all the bad things. Oh, look at our special guest
this is
today.
Foxy. Hi,
Okay,
Foxy.
let's discuss this for a little minute. Foxy said, okay, my mom can't get all the spotlight here.
I know. She's like, hi, I'm new here. I like to have some attention. I know, honey. You're okay. You're a good girl. She's like,
Oh,
oh, let's talk about moons and I'm interested.
she's
Aren't
in.
you? What a good girl.
Yeah.
Aw. So in terms of for other people, can they look at their chart and understand like what's being pulled for in like this eclipse season for themselves when they look at their different nodes? Is that a good question?
Yeah. Maybe at the end of the podcast,
Yeah.
We can talk about how to really embrace this for each and every one of us.
Okay.
It's this particular axis. Again, I keep saying it, it's the Aries and the Libra axis. There's going to be a lot of heartbreaking situations. Again, I am not saying this to give fear-based and to make some kind of a statement like everyone's husbands are leaving them, because that is obviously not happening, right?
Right. So
But
that to me,
I would be remiss to say that there will be many breakups. And I'm not just talking romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about business partnerships and like jobs. And it's because it's on the relationship me-we axis. That's why I'm saying this. And again, not at all to be fear-based, but to just say you've probably already seen in your own social circle people breaking up or relationships breaking up. And it's been building since about October as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's when the first one happened, the first eclipse in this Aries Libra axis. That's when the new moon was in Libra in October of just last year. So what was happening? Just think back to everyone, think back to your life in the October-ish. You know, that's when it sort of started.
Yeah, there was a lot of transitional things now that I'm thinking about it. A lot of
new
transitional
things coming in, going out. And now this is a full moon. This one's a full moon. So I'm probably getting ahead of myself here, but just to answer your first question of what are eclipses anyways. So technically it's when the nodes are on the moon. Not only that, but it's also how we feel it, how everyone experiences it collectively. So the world as well as individually. This is all about timeline shifting. So we were getting into this in our last podcast. And if that sounds too woo-woo, I guess another way of saying it is getting you on the right path. So getting the world on the right path, but like getting individually on the right path. So when I break down sort of what's going on with this particular eclipse and the next one, we're going to go over both of them.
There's two. So that kind of leads me into the next question that I have for you. So knowing that eclipses come in pairs, I believe that's what you're saying.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about the pair of eclipses that are coming up? There's one on March 25th and the other one is April 8th. So like, do they have anything in common? Is there something going on that we need to pay attention to?
Yeah, so the theme, it's the me-we. It's the me-we axis. Aries is here, Libra is here. It's me and we. And so what does that even mean, right? How do I show up in my marriage? How do I show up in my friendships? So to just give some quick examples, right? Like say you're part of a friendship group and for the longest time you've been feeling like you can't speak up. Like, I really don't like it when the girls talk about this, that, or the next, or I really feel like they're phasing me out, or there's something that you are just not speaking up, or you're not comfortable in that friendship group. This is just one example, right? So how are you going to show up now? Because really it's not about them. It's not about the girls. It's not about what they're saying. It's about actually how are you showing up? So are you finally going to say, hey, I'm uncomfortable with this topic? Or are you going to finally say, you know what, this friendship is no longer serving me, and I'm going, God bless you all and goodbye. Like, how
Yeah.
are you showing up in your relationships is how
Okay.
it's going to hit everyone individually. So is that resonating for you?
It truly does. I have been feeling that, like I said, like when, as soon as you said October, that truly, like,
Yeah.
so many things have been shifting and changing, and I've been actually feeling a pull. Sometimes it's to a little bit of negative things in terms of me changing stuff, and others it's in a positive, and most of the positive has been aligning with you, making decisions to start the Brave Girl podcast and all the things that are coming along with that. It just feels so good. I feel lighter, even though we're doing a lot of stuff. I feel, yeah, I just feel happy and so good.
You're listening to the inner voices. So
Exactly.
we've all been feeling this
Exactly.
Aries Libra axis since about October-ish, and it's continuing now. We're having an eclipse in here. And so it really is, how are you honoring yourself in relationship? So whether it's in your marriage and, something's going on in your marriage, and say even it's been going on for 20 years and it's
Yeah.
bothered you for 20 years, but you've not said anything or you've not
Right.
changed anything. Well, that's on you. So how are you going to show up in that,
Right.
you know?
Okay. Like, people taking accountability for what's going on in their world, in their life, and making changes accordingly, really, is what I'm kind of hearing from that.
It's any one-on-one relationship. So it's the close ones, it's the marriage, it's the best friend, it's the close friends, it's who
Okay.
your colleagues, like it's those one-on-ones. How are you showing up? What needs to end? And I will give a hot tip before I get into each of these different eclipses.
Yes.
So if relationships end for you at this time and it's really, really difficult, just keep in mind this is on the south node. This full moon eclipse we're having on the 25th, it's on the south node.
Okay.
So south node is all about your comfort zone. It's
Yeah.
You've been there, you've done that.
Yeah.
Um, I urge you strongly to walk away in peace and to not try and fix it.
Okay.
So that is strong advice.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason why I'm being so strong about this is because it's on the south node. This
Right.
moon is on the south node. Now, the moon that's on the April 8th, that's the next eclipse we're going to talk about. That's a different story. We're going to talk about that in a second. But this
Oh.
one, this full moons already are about releasing, letting it go, seeing what the moon is illuminating for all of us to see, all the things we didn't want to see, or all the things that we finally manifested it. And the full moon is so bright in the sky and illuminates it for us. So
Yeah.
look at it, be honest about it. And
Mhm.
if something does end and it's very difficult, and I understand that, I really, really do, I strongly urge you to say goodbye.
I see ya. Yeah, that resonates. Okay, so before
Okay.
I share anything too crazy on here that I can't take back, that
Yeah.
leads me into another question I have for you. So, and I'm going to say a few words that I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah.
properly. So,
Yeah.
like, stick with me, kids. It's fine. I'm learning these things as I go. So, can you tell us what are the main energetics from the penumbral lunar eclipse on the 25th?
So
I
it's
think I said it right. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe you can tell me what that
Called the
word means.
penumbral. Yeah, you did it. It's called the penumbral lunar eclipse.
I'm like,
And the next one is called a total eclipse. So the
okay.
total means it's really close to the nodes. So the one coming up on April 8th is going to be something.
Okay.
This one,
What's up?
and I'm going to back it up even more, actually. What I'm going to say is astrologers across the board have been talking about this time for a long time. And I'll tell you why, because we just had the equinox, which is the astrological new year. It's like the new year. This is
Right.
like, it's not January 1st, folks. Okay.
Right.
So it was March
It's
19th.
the 21st.
The 19th of March was the equinox. And so that already is new year energy, right? Then you fast forward a little bit to the 25th, which is the actual full moon eclipse. Okay. And then you fast forward a little bit, and then you get the total eclipse on the 8th. But then you fast forward even a little tiny bit, and this is the biggest astrological event of the year. All astrologers across the board agree that this year on April 20th, so 420,
Yep.
we've got a conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus. So that's the biggest of all the biggie. So it's like the equinox, and then these eclipses, it's like getting us there to that April 20th big thing. And it's all about getting in right relationship with yourself so that you can get in the right relationship.
I hear you.
But it's about, you've got to embrace this energy, and you've got to say goodbye if you have to say goodbye. And you have to send compassion and love to what's not working for you. You have to say the goodbyes in order to deal with what's coming up on April 20th. Okay. So I just wanted to put that out there. Again, not at all to be fear-based.
Yeah.
But we've all been feeling it, even like off record. We've had so many conversations of like, what is going on? And like, people are acting crazy. And like,
it's true. That is 100% true. And like every day is different. That's why, like, for me today, I was feeling a bit of weird feelings, like almost like a negative. Not that I'm truly a negative person, but I was feeling it. Like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's something like a decision I have to make that's coming up that's kind of pulling on my heart a little bit. I don't know. That's just how it's feeling, at least today. Feeling a little weird. I'll say, oh, I have an idea. So I have a question. I know you've mentioned to me before that you know how to do tarot card stuff, right?
I will pull a card, but
I'm kind of hoping
still going to tell you. I'm still telling you about this full moon eclipse, penumbral. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I won't get too technical because I know it's like snooze festival, boring, right? But I want to bring home the a little bit about it. So it's on 5 degrees of Libra. So for all of you astro cosmic cuties out there that want to learn, get your natal chart, find out where 5 degrees of Libra is. What's the house placement? Do you have any planets or points or asteroids around 5 degrees of Libra? That's your first house, Cindy. So it's hitting whenever it hits an angular house, 1st, 7th, 4th, 10th. It's a big deal, right? It changes things.
Yeah.
This particular full moon is on the south node. I can't stress it enough. This is about, not only is it about comfort zone stuff that we need to get honest about, like get honest about your habits, the way you show up in relationships. Do you run away from your feelings? Do you run away from hard conversations? Is it time to change that? Is it time to listen to your partner? What does your partner want? What is your best friend? What has your best friend been trying to say? Read between the lines. Like, it's stuff like that for us to get real and just say, you know, actually that doesn't work for me. You know, and I'm not saying every single relationship's going to break up. Of course not. But I think this is a lot about improving relationship dynamics. Being honest, like maybe I wasn't showing up as the greatest wife on earth, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's stuff like that, right? So being honest about that, because it's on the south node. But the other thing about the south node is it can bring extreme wisdom. So just to say about my own personal life, I actually have my moon in Libra. So like I'm very drawn to this kind of energy my entire life. So when you're showing up in strong Libra energy, you are very social. And you like nice things, and you like a lot of peace and harmony in your relation. You're very relationship based, right?
Yeah.
You're not showing up in your greatest Libra energy. You are a people pleaser. You will not make a decision to save your life. Okay. And you will avoid your feelings. If you will avoid them like an Academy Award winning actress. Okay. And you get to the bottom. No, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. Oh, yeah. And the people please, and just making everything so nice. And you can get caught in that kind. And so I know Libra energy very well because my moon is in Libra, and I've been, and my son's in Aries. So like Aries and Libra are opposites, which is what we're talking about on this. And so for me, my whole life, my greatest teachers in my entire life have been my relationships. And so I'm at a point now in my life where, like, at this full moon eclipse, from the South Node, I can take extreme wisdom from what I have learned from my relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about friendships that have completely changed my life, right? And I bless it and I thank it. And I know what not to do in the future. And that's what a full moon, that's what the South Node can bring you if you're willing, if you're ready.
Yeah.
But for those people out there who are not quite there yet, then it's all about getting out of the comfort zone. For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
And that's hard. I mean, the comfort zones are comfort zones for a reason, right? They're comfortable, and people are creatures of habit. At least I know I am. And yeah, that can be, that's hard. That's hard. That's hard to follow that.
So what a full moon in Libra is trying to teach you is balance. Balance. Yeah. Okay. And it's harmony. And it's harmony and justice. It's the Justice card in tarot. Yes, I will pull a card here soon. I won't get too much into the energetics and the exact astrology of this moon because I don't want to bore you to tears. But
what does energetics, what does that mean?
Yeah. What does it mean to you? I mean, to me, it's like, I know something's going on. I know when I even go to the grocery store, I can sense, the road rage. I know something's going on. And, if you ask any nurse, like, a full moon in a hospital is the busiest night of the month, right? And so that full moon is building, and any eclipse, any full moon eclipse is a full moon on steroids. And so this is a full moon on steroids when it comes to relationships, when it comes to taking responsibility for your part, in terms of never blaming, never being a victim. Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
Can you take that responsibility and just say, no, sure, the relationship was toxic. Okay, fine. But I'm now going to work on what part of me was toxic.
Yeah.
That was keeping me there,
That's huge, because oftentimes we don't recognize, like, we want to blame the other person, like, oh, it's them, it's their thing, they're doing something bad, whatever. But it's usually, well, almost always, it's a reflection of yourself. Like, what do you need to learn from that relationship to move on and stop having that repeating pattern in your life, right? So it's hard. It links into the comfort zone, right? Because
so this week, and just keep your ears open. Like, if you go out for dinner, like, if you hear a table full of people talking, blaming, oh, this is my story of how I was done wrong. Like, if you're hearing that's people staying in their comfort zone. That's people refusing to take responsibility for their part in the relationship. That's somebody that has not learned the lessons from the very, very, very difficult relationships that you've had in the past. And so where are you on that spectrum? It's been building and you've been feeling it, as ever since October of last year. If you find yourself telling your victim story because of relationships, then maybe you need to start taking responsibility for yourself.
Interesting. So that's something that everyone can kind of take as a learning, really, for this time of the year, right? Everyone can kind of look at themselves and go, okay, like, what's going on in my world? What am I being pulled towards or not? And how am I bringing that into my life? Like, what responsibility do I have in that, whether it be positive, negative, right? And then make some choices moving forward. Like, how do I want my life to be? Right? That's what I'm hearing. I don't know.
You're showing up. And again, that Libra, that low level Libra, is a people pleaser, avoids feelings, avoids decisions. That's low level Libra, and I know it well.
Yeah, that's a comfortable place, though.
I know
that's a good place.
Oh, I know that area well. So again, the astrology of this full moon isn't that bad. You're going to hear most astrologers on there. I could give you this trine and that. You probably don't care much. But again, that's what this full moon, penumbral lunar eclipse on the 25th. And it doesn't have to happen exactly on the 25th. Again, this energy has been building since October, let alone, exactly on the day of the 25th.
Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So you'd like me to pull a card? You did.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I pull cards. I've forgotten in the last few reading. So I'm just going to pull one card. I did a quick pre-shuffle. I'm doing one now too. And just asking the cards, what is the energy when you asked, what does it mean by energetics? And well, let's ask the cards. What are the energetics for the collective, for all of us at the time of this full moon in Libra, 5 degrees Libra. Okay. One card. Here it is. Nine of Swords. Okay. Ooh. This is the drama queen card.
Oh.
So it's exactly what I was just talking about. If you go out and you hear, you know, the table beside you just completely complaining about men, here it is. If you have that friend call you up and tell you how she just got dumped by the biggest a-hole on earth, here it is. It's the people that are staying in their victim stories and they refuse to get out of it. That's this, I kind of have just said that. And that's what this card is. Like, look at her. She's like, oh,
poor me.
The poor me story. Trust me, I know about the poor me story.
Yeah, I hear it a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
And I used to be the queen of the poor me story until you make that pivotal step in your life and you take responsibility for absolutely every single relationship, everything that shows up in your life, taking responsibility and not blaming anymore and moving on to something different. And when you do leave relationships, I'm not just talking about romance, I'm talking about friendships that you know are not serving you. You know what that does is that opens up space for the people that are supposed to come in, because the people that are supposed to come in can't come in. There's no space for them, you know. So it's one of those full moon weekends, let me tell you.
I feel it. It's like one of those things where you, like, if a door closes, you can kind of, you're making space, you're allowing something new to come in by letting things go, right? It's like cleaning your house. Once you clean it, it feels better. You feel like positive things are coming into your world, right?
Spring cleaning.
Yeah. Cleaning.
Clean it up. Clean it up. Watch where stories go. That's something that really helped me. If you're looking for any tips, that's something that really worked for me to move past, because relationships have been my biggest teachers in life, is watch the stories you tell. Just watch. Because once you start down that road, okay, here's my big story. Like literally 20 minutes later, you're like reliving it. 40 minutes later, everyone around you is traumatized. Just be careful. Be careful of the stories you tell.
Okay. Yeah, you don't want to freak people out or scare people or be like, well, would that make them want to tell their own victim story? Is that why you should?
Everyone, it's like,
yeah, you're bringing in that energy. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want to bring any more in. Okay, so speaking of that one, that was I think you talked about both of them, right? You talked about the one that's coming up on the 25th, but for the total solar eclipse is coming April 8th.
April 8th.
What are the main energetics around that one? Because you're saying that one's a little different.
Yeah, and I should also say, just to back up, when it's a full moon eclipse, usually that's something internal. And so that's something that it usually shows up in your heart and soul, and you make a total mindset shift, usually when it's a full moon eclipse. When it's a new moon eclipse, which is the total solar eclipse on April 8th, usually something shows up in your world. Okay. Something new, right?
Okay.
Taken in, taken out. It's the world can see it, you know, whereas what's happening on the 25th might just happen here. Right.
Okay.
But that's just sort of a rule of thumb of eclipses. But this is a total eclipse. So this is super close, and it's to the North Node, and it's in Aries. Okay, let's just be honest. Since October, and for 18 months here, the energetics of the universe are encouraging all of us to go toward Aries things, Aries people, Aries energy. And what does that mean? That means become independent.
Yeah, I was going to say, it to me, that's really like a confidence driven. Like that's what I feel like strongly from you. And I know from Kat, our special guest that we had recently, confidence is the probably the number one vibration that I get from both of you. Like that strong willed, like powerful kind of energy that is just, it's so attractive to those of us that may not have those as a strength, right? So you feel that power within you in a positive way. I don't know. Yeah, I can see that.
Yes, it's true. Standing on your own, doing your own thing, being
Yep.
solo if you have to,
Yep.
doing it on your own, like making the decision. That's
Right.
also very Aries, is because Libra can be so indecisive and just not do a thing and just sit there in your indecisiveness and it just be stuck in that rut. And then Aries energy is about, look, I'm going to just go do the thing and I might fail and that's okay. And then I'm going to do the thing and then I might fail again. And then I'm just going to do the thing and fail, fail, fail. And it's like Aries keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't
On
matter to an Aries. And Aries
it's,
is so brave. Aries is the brave word. Did you know that?
no, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
well, that's perfect then.
It
And I
is.
know like for me, like when I teach like any kind of class, I find people are always so afraid of making a mistake. Like, oh my goodness, if I make a mistake, oh my goodness, it's like failing this and that. But to me, it's all a process. If you fail something, that's truly how you learn. So how are you going to fix that mistake? How are you repairing those things, right? So to me, that's important. It's a good life lesson. Make
Yeah.
mistakes. Keep moving forward. Keep going. Who cares, right? Like learn
Okay,
from it.
so we've all been encouraged to be like Aries. So look
Yeah.
around your Aries friends,
Yeah.
see where they do well. Like where do they just do well, right? And so this
Yeah.
one, this one on April 8th is the harder one. So again,
Oh.
the equinox was warming us up to be like, oh, something's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And March 25th, full moon is like course correction. I got to start taking myself responsible and maybe I need to really take a hard left and
Right.
okay, so that's step 2. Now step 3 is this new moon on April 8th and I will say this is not the time to manifest because
No.
with a new moon you always manifest. You
Okay.
always set the intentions, never on an eclipse. And
Wow.
also, don't look to the sky on eclipses. It's shady energy. It's like the ancients back in the 100 million years ago. They were terrified of eclipses. Okay. They thought the world was ending. And that is still the energy that eclipses bring. Don't look to the sky. I always feel bad for the photographers that go and get the perfect eclipse photo. I'm like,
Yeah.
don't
And they
look. Don't
encourage
look.
people to go look at it or like wear the special sunglasses so that you can
Don't.
observe, right? They encourage, like the world encourages it. So like, what's that about?
It's shady energy. It's
Yeah.
shady. Just ground yourself, okay?
Okay.
Don't look at it. Don't get out your manifestation, okay? This is a total solar eclipse at 19 degrees of Aries. And well, guess what else is right at 19 degrees? Not only the sun and the moon are exactly at 19 degrees of Aries, but Chiron's at 19. Okay, we need to talk about Chiron again. Okay, I need to
I
remind
remember that guy.
everyone about Chiron. Okay, Chiron.
Oh.
As mythology goes, Chiron was half animal, half man. Okay. So, a dog man. Have you ever heard of a dog man? I mean,
Mm-mm.
Sasquatch, like,
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
This is what Chiron was. Chiron got wounded by an arrow and he could never heal himself. In fact, it made him immortal. So he would live forever with this wound. Okay. So his
Yeah.
life sucked. Okay. This is how mythology goes.
Now I want to feel sorry for him. I
You
don't
feel
know.
terrible for Chiron. Okay.
Yeah, I feel a little bad for him.
So he lives for so, so long. And he finally discovers how to heal himself. And he does. He heals himself and he does find his soulmate named Cheriklo. Okay, she's another asteroid involved in all this. But the thing is, Chiron's exactly where this new moon is. Okay, so it's like
Hmm.
the wounds that you just haven't been looking at. Again,
Yeah.
the equinox is trying to get you ready. So was
Yeah.
October. The
Yeah.
equinox is trying to get you ready. This full moon is trying to get you ready to be honest with yourself, right? This
Right.
this new moon on it doesn't look good. Okay. The astrology, it's conjunct Mercury too, and
Oh.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say, this is very healing energy. This is extremely healing, but be honest with yourself.
Right.
What's showing up, deal with it.
Yeah.
The end.
Adult, be a grown-up, be powerful, be in yourself, make a decision.
In Aries, it's in Aries, like be courageous. Aries and brave and courage all go hand in hand. Okay. Aries,
so we all need to be brave girls.
You've got to be brave.
This
is like the perfect podcast.
It's the perfect podcast. I still can't believe this is our third podcast. Can I just say that? That's just we're amazing.
We're amazing. And timing to be brave.
Yeah, it truly is the perfect time to do it, right? I mean, any time's good to be brave, but this is truly the actual time to do it. Like the stars are telling us that it's time to do it. Be brave, kids.
And Aries, low level. I've spoken of higher energy of Libra and lower energy of Libra. And again, I resonate strongly with the high and the low because I'm an Aries moon person.
Right.
Well, I also resonate highly with Aries energy because I have my sun, my Jupiter, and my Chiron. So I'm having a Chiron return, but that's a whole other story. Okay. I have 3 major energies in Aries. So high energy Aries is courageous, is brave, will be the one to make the decision and do it, even though everyone's watching and going, oh my God, I can't believe she just did that. You know, she's the one that does it, right?
Interesting.
So she's entrepreneurial. Aries is the entrepreneur.
Yep.
Aries makes the decision and does the damn thing. Okay. So that's high level Aries and a blast, like has the energy and even keeps failing, fails a million times, keeps going. That's Aries at their best. Low level Aries. Okay. War. It's war, like fighting egomaniacs. Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh
because
no.
we have such strong life force energy. In other words, our sun in Aries is so strong that it can go the bad way. So people that have so much light can be egomaniacs. Look at me, I'm the best, all that crap, right?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Aries
if you fly too close to that, you can get burned yourself, right? In a sense.
You can burn people out. You
around you.
burn yourself out because you just tone it down. It's like, yeah, you're great, but like, come on now.
Yeah.
No one wants to be around that, right?
No, exactly. But you could be drawn to it. Like you could be drawn to that light in a sense, right?
Think about that. That is like hard. That's one of the major signs of a narcissist is they're always so on and they're in the room and they're da da da. And
I'm sorry, can you see me?
Here I am.
Yeah.
That is low level Aries because they are so bright.
Right.
So that's Aries and Leo people. Leo are the best suns. That's the best sun sign to be in.
Okay.
And they are the performers. They are the actors. They are the singers. They are the la da da.
Right.
And it's great. But when Leo's in, they have to be seen. They have to be heard.
Yeah,
it's exhausting, right? It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Being around people that have to be seen, have to be heard, have to take up all the energy in the room, right? People like that, right?
We do. Yeah, it's hard because if you don't have yourself properly kind of guarded against that sort of personality, you can have your energy just sucked from you. And that's usually how I'm left feeling if I'm around someone like that. I leave feeling like, oh my God, thank God they walked away. Like I just feel like whew,
they sucked all the light out of you.
Yes, that's how it feels. And I think that's probably why they're drawn to us as well, because they can take that energy from us and make themselves feel even brighter. Right?
That is the number one sign of a narcissist. That's a whole other podcast if you want to do a podcast on narcissism and where that shows up in astrology charts. That's a fascinating topic too.
It truly is. It truly is, especially for people like us that we get different kind of personalities like that drawn into our world, into our little orbit. And that's like one of the biggest lessons I've learned, at least in the most recent months, is learning how to deal with that and making sure that I have myself protected, draw a line in the sand, and sort of and follow through with it, being brave, making decisions, cutting the cord, like things like that.
Make the hard left. Like that's what the
it's hard
of these eclipses are encouraging all of us to do, is make the hard left turn and say goodbye.
Yeah.
And show up differently, so that when another person like that comes into your life, because they're always going to be there, they're always going to show up. How are you showing up differently?
Yeah. And on it, and really, and recognizing it for what it is. I know I've always had a hard time with seeing that, and I'm learning to recognize that in people when they approach me. I kind of get a better feel for what do they want from me. If they're trying to get something from me, then I know that's usually the number one sign that that's kind of their tendency, is to be a bit of a narcissist. They want attention, they want things from me, and I'm learning about that. So I know you're doing the.
I gotta keep talking about Chiron.
Yes.
Sorry, I cut you off, but I just have to mention the importance of Chiron being a part of this eclipse on April 8th. This is such an opportunity for us to act like Chiron. So we've lived with this thing forever, right? We've done the same things forever in relationships. I mean, it could even be our health. For a lot of people, it's health issues because Chiron had poor health.
Yeah.
You know? So if it's not a way of showing up in relationship, then it's health issues for a lot of people showing up. So it's like, be brave like Chiron and heal it. Figure it out. Okay, figure it out. And figure out how to show up differently, because Chiron is right on this eclipse. And so for a lot of people, there's going to be health crisis. For a lot of people, there's going to be, you don't know what to do next. Okay.
Right.
But be like Chiron and know that just because you've been given a diagnosis, or just because you've always been like this, it doesn't mean you have to continue that way. But this is not a good feeling energy from this eclipse. And I'm just warning you about that because Chiron's there. But again, Chiron is so inspirational. I do encourage all of you to Google Chiron, Chiron.
Yeah.
And truly, the mythology is extremely inspirational if you can dig deep and show up differently.
And truly heal yourself so that you can move forward, make changes, all the things, right?
It is. It's all about self-healing, and that's Aries energy. It's Aries don't rely on people. Like Aries just does things on their own, right? And so maybe that's low level Aries a bit, like never asking for help. I can definitely resonate with that. And I'm just like, look, I'll do it. I can do it better. I'll just do it. And so, maybe sometimes we do need to ask for help, and maybe sometimes we do need to actually take some time to slow down. Aries does not slow down. So this is encouraging all of us to be like, sure, okay, get up out of bed in the morning, but maybe deal with what's reoccurring.
Yeah, what's going on in your world and like what kind of changes you need to make. Yeah, that's important for sure. And I know, like, I was gonna say, I'm like, I feel like it's card time because we talked about the April 8th, and I want to see what we need to do.
So not trying to get fear-based about that second eclipse, but
I know.
It's a big course correction again, and then for the April 20th conjunction, that one's going to be shocking for people that weren't taking cues from the first eclipse and weren't taking cues from the second eclipse. Then it's going to be shocking come 420. Okay.
Wow. Buckle up, kids. Chiron's coming.
Okay, so here it is. I'm asking the cards for the energetics of the April 8th eclipse, the new moon, which no one's going to be manifesting on, right? Right.
We're not going to look at it. We're not going to manifest on it. Nope.
Here it is. This is the April 8th, the High Priestess in reverse. Oh, this is so awesome. Okay, so upright, she's all the queens. So there's 4 queens in the tarot deck, right?
Okay.
And so upright, she's all the queens. She's such a queen, this woman, that she doesn't even need to speak because it's all telepathic, and she feels, and she's so intuitive, and she just goes with nature, and she knows exactly what to do and say, and she just doesn't even need to talk.
Wow.
You know the queen? You know that queen? That's this queen. Well, here she is in reverse.
Oh.
So it's like saying, it's like the Chiron energy. Look, like we all have power within us. Are we willing to dig a little bit deeper than usual? Because we're going to have to. Be willing to dig deep and listen, slow down, listen what's going on, that we know we need to course correct. We all need to course correct. None of us are perfect. We're all learning until the day we die, right? And so these eclipses are really encouraging all of us to get quiet and listen and do the damn thing that you need to do to heal
yourself. Make a decision. Yeah. That's going to be hard. It's hard. It's going to be a hard, uncomfortable. Like I already feel uncomfortable. It feels like something uncomfortable has to happen, but it has to happen for positive things to come, like releasing something to create that space and energy for having something better come in, right? Change your life, be better. Okay. So knowing all those things, so how do we move forward with that? Like, what should we be doing to sort of incorporate that, all the lessons that you just taught us? How do we incorporate that? So how do we embrace it? Like, what do we do?
So if this really intrigued you, if you're still with us listening to our conversation, I would highly recommend that each of you get a copy of your own birth chart. And so you can go anywhere. I recommend astro.com. It's free. It's the best one. Astroseek.com is another good one. There's many out there that all you have to do is go a free astrology birth chart. Like that's all you got to Google, right? And then we're going to ask you for your time of birth, right? So that's the key for you to know what I'm about to tell you. Okay.
Right.
So what I'm about to tell you is you find the house placement of where Libra and where Aries is, because that's where all this energy is happening. Where is Libra and Aries in your birth chart? So for Cindy, I know it's first, and then April 8th, Chiron eclipse is in your seventh. Your seventh is all about your relationships. So not only your romantic relationships, but
why has it got to be the hard stuff for me?
Your first house is like everything. It's kind of funny. You could say it's like your business card. It's how you show up. Your first house is this is me, Cindy, and I am this fabulous woman, and everyone can see it, right? Then you go to the seventh house, which is the April 8th eclipse for you. And this is all your one-on-one relationships, right? So there's a call for you to heal there, whether it's friendships, whether it's your work colleagues, whether it's your marriage, like it's totally up to you to know what you need to do, right? But this is what I'm encouraging all of us to do, is to find out where Aries and where Libra are in your house, because the house placements tell you the area of life that this is going to happen for you, that this is going to show up, right? For you, it's the first and seventh.
Right.
And if you're like, well, what does the house placement mean? You can easily Google that too. Like
I downloaded myself a little cheat sheet that sort of summarizes, like you can look at all the little houses, because I know you always reference like house 1, house 7, and I'm thinking, oh, what does that mean again? But it has a little chart where it shows all the different houses, and it gives a little description within each one of what's in that each house. So it helps me understand sometimes when you're talking about the houses, like what is house 3?
We can provide that too. We've got some things in the works, brave girls, that we're gonna.
We do. I've been posting a few little hints, because we have some things on the back burner that are coming forward. And will be released really soon. I've been working on it. I feel like little chills, because it's something that I know my soul has been pulling me towards, and I feel like it's just time.
Exciting.
Set it free. Like I'm ready. Like let's go.
I can just say briefly, if you want, I can just say briefly, the 12 houses: be brave and heal, and take responsibility for your life. Be brave, heal, take responsibility for your life. In these eclipses, if it's your first house, it's your whole life. It can affect anything. Second house, it's your finances, what you possess, the money you make. Third house, it's the junk drawer in astrology. Third house is a little bit of everything. It's your siblings, it's your cousins, it's your car, it's your communication style, it's your early childhood education. That's all third house junk drawer stuff. Fourth house is family. Fourth house is family, and it's your property and your housing.
Good luck with that if you're in the fourth, people.
Whew. Fifth house is the fun house. This is your kids. This is your creativity. This is fun. games, romance. Sixth house is that's me. It's the boring house, but it's the things you do every single day. It's your health. It's what you do every day to change your whole damn life. So it's super boring because you got to do it daily.
Right.
But it's all related to your health. Seventh house is your marriage. It's your best friends. It's your one-on-one relationships. It's your business partners. Eighth house is like a very witchy house. This is your magic. This is the death and rebirth. This is the butterfly house. So in other words, you are no longer a caterpillar. You are a butterfly because you've completely transformed. Ninth house is your spiritual belief system. It's also foreigners. It's foreign countries. It's also publishing. 10th house is your career. 10th house is your title. You go from Ms. to Mrs. in the 10th house. The 10th house is what everybody sees. 11th house is your friends. It's your groups. It's also your hopes and your wishes. It's your greatest dreams. 12th house is where you come undone. This is where you let it go. This is where you get real about addictions. This is where you go to the hospital and get help. This is where you dream at night and you receive the dream and you know exactly what you need to do.
Wow.
That was quick. That was quick, and you can get way more information when you Google it.
Yeah, for sure. And we can put that little PDF like that I found. We can link it on in the bottom in our show notes or whatever we want to do with that. So that's really cool. Like my brain, can you tell I'm downloading? I'm downloading. It's a lot. So I know, like since we are the brave girls, how can we embrace it? Like how can we incorporate this into our lives? Like for all of us, how do we incorporate being, I guess, more brave within this whole eclipse season? Like what do we do? What should we be doing?
My best advice, especially with this Aries Libra eclipse, is let go of your victim story. Do not blame a single soul. Don't. Get out of it and stop telling those stories, because that's going to keep you in the poor me. And this happened to me. And I'm going to tell my whole story. And these eclipses since October have been encouraging absolutely every single one of us to stop that. Stop it all. Be brave, take responsibility, and just say, well, I could have showed up differently. And next time this kind of a person comes into my life, I can show up differently. And I'm going to like leave all of that so that I can make room for my people. That's what these eclipses are telling all. Got to be brave. And I know it's hard. Trust me. I know.
So hard.
I know.
It's comfortable.
I know.
And we like, have ways to deal with bad things and keep it inside.
Oh, the people pleasing of the Libra.
Oh, I am
so Libra. It's so, and Libras do not make a goddamn decision.
Come on, Libras, get it together, make a decision. Help us out.
Oh, I know that energy so.
Oh my God, right? Long. So I feel like people really have to just buckle up, listen to whatever intuition is inside your head. Like, is there something that you need to change? Is there a relationship that you need to look at? Make a decision, make a change, and be ready for something better to come into your life, right? Like, that's really what I'm hearing from that.
Open up space. Just be like Chiron. Chiron was given a diagnosis for life. And so for the longest time, Chiron lived with it for many years. And then Chiron finally said, well, the only thing that's going to cure me is me. And I've got to look deep within me and find out whatever the cure is, because I'm the only one that's going to cure me. Nobody is going to cure me. You have to be independent like the Aries, and you've got to just do it.
Make a decision, make a choice, be a grown-up, be accountable, be strong, be brave. Wow.
That's being brave. That's being brave.
That is being brave. That is truly being brave. I mean, oftentimes that's the time in our life when we choose to be brave. Like to me, it's always making a decision and following through. If something's really hard and I don't want to do it, that's usually a brave choice for me within my little world, for sure. Oh gosh, this is so cool. So I feel like I've learned quite a bit about the eclipse season and what to do. So don't look at the sun. Don't look at that. No.
Like at the moment of, I mean, like some people, they make trips and, bless them. And photographers get amazing photographs of the moment. I don't do it. It's shady. It's shady energy is what it
Wow.
is. It's shady energy.
We don't want the shady energy. We want the sunny, happy energy. Not too much sun though. We don't want to be
It
going
does.
there.
It eclipses. It eclipses. And literally, if it is during the day, like the sky goes dark.
Dark. Right.
Like
Yeah.
it literally shades. And that's what eclipses do. Like you asked me at the very beginning of this
Yeah.
podcast, what do they do? They literally eclipse things out. They literally eclipse it, something in or out. Like a relationship is out and a new person comes in, you lose your job. Like if you were to Google anytime if you've ever been fired from a job, like I just encourage all of you to actually look at the date and see the eclipse seasons of that particular year. And you might be surprised that you got fired during an eclipse.
That's incredible. It's just it still blows my mind how much
Right.
the world and people are impacted by this, whether or not they are aware of it or if they believe in it, whatever, it's still impactful, right? Everyone is impacted by the solar system, by everything that's going on. That's wow.
Yeah. And that's the energetics of the eclipse.
Yeah, that's energetics. Now I get it. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. The eclipse. I love that. That was amazing. That was so good. I really enjoyed that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. Can you see
Okay.
I'm like my face is getting red because I'm starting to think a lot. My brain is starting to download all this information that we just shared, but I don't know. Is there anything else that we need to share about this?
Yeah, it's like this is brave girl energy. And I feel like we've, like again, we've been talking about how we sort of started the whole darn thing in the October-ish
We
time
did.
frame. And
Yeah.
just keep embracing that for all of you. Just keep standing on your own 2 feet, ground yourself through all this. Like drink a lot of water. I mean, like get real about the daily just daily life, because it's high energy. What with the equinox and then the eclipses and then what's coming up on 420 it's gonna shock so many people. If you're not willing to just go, you don't have to listen to my astrology forecast, of course you don't, but are you listening to your heart? Are you
Yourself.
listening to your intuition? Because you're being guided whether you listen to astrology or not. So I highly recommend just to be brave, get real, stop blaming anyone. Don't blame yourself either, please. I don't mean to say that either. It's
Yeah.
not your fault, that you were in this toxic relationship. Of course
Yeah.
not. But how are you going to take responsibility and show up differently in your future relationships and at your future job? And how are you going to be different and be on your own 2 feet? And I
Yeah.
encourage all of you to embrace this energy.
Yeah. Embrace it. Be brave, people.
Be brave.
Learn anything from us. Be brave. I mean, it's such a powerful thing. And like I've said before, it means so much different things to everybody. But yeah, I don't know. It was definitely brave of us to do all this stuff that we're doing. So
Great.
I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us. All right, brave girls, happy eclipse season. And in the comments, share with us, how's this energy showing up for you? What's showing up in your life? Tell us. We'd love to hear from you.
I'm dying to hear it. Yeah, let's do
Dying to
that.
hear it. All right. Be brave. Take care.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.